Alabama and Ole Miss, the Crimson Tide, are they totally out of it? Are they going to show up today to play this football game? Of course they are. Alabama and the Rebels. We're going to preview it. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show coming up from the Flora-Bama and Perdido Key now.
The Bama Football Tailgate Show, brought to you by Bama Insider and On3 Sports Network, is on the air. The Crimson Tide are rolling, and we got you covered with a breakdown of the game matchup, an SEC preview, and all the fun of a game day on the quad. Broadcasting each home game from the Strip in Tuscaloosa. With Bama Insider and On3 Sports Network experts weekly like Kyle Henderson, Andrew Bone, and Clint Lamb, and more. National Championship quarterback Jay Barker, and hosted by former Crimson Tide Sports Network's broadcaster and SEC Network award-winning voice, Mick Gillispie. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is presented by Yuengling Lager. Yuengling, America's oldest brewery, the best way to host a Bama tailgate party. Pearl River Resort Casino and Hotel in Choctaw, Mississippi. Let's play. Now featuring the sports book at the Timeout Lounge. Also brought to you by the Flora-Bama world-famous beach bar and lounge in Orange Beach. Genesis of Tuscaloosa. Luxury with a national championship service department. Visit Sevierville.com. Your Smokies start here. Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Hyundai, the longer you look, the more there is to like. Innisfree, an Alabama Irish pub tradition. Visit Tuscaloosa. Not too small, not too big. Tuscaloosa is pronounced just right. Owa Theme Park and Resort in Foley, Alabama. NewLifeArt.com, publisher of fine art editions by Daniel A. Moore. Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. R&R Cigar, home of the Victory Cigar, with 2 locations in Tuscaloosa and Northport. Unique on the Strip. Cathead Distillery, proudly distilling award-winning spirits since 2010. Pawn Royale at 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport.
What do you say, everybody? Welcome to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, presented by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery. And for the next 2 hours, we're going to preview number 9, Alabama. Number 11, Ole Miss, 2:30 today at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. On the show, we got a great lineup for you guys as we preview this game. Thom Abraham, who's with us every week from 97.7 ESPN The Zone in North Alabama. That's our affiliate. You probably could be listening to our show right now from up there. Andrew Bone from Bama Insider. He's our recruiting guru and expert. Kenny White, our sharp from out in Vegas with Reagan from R&R Cigars. We're going to break down some games there. We got Neil McCready, my buddy from RebelGrove.com, to talk Ole Miss. What's going on with the Rebels? Alabama playing Ole Miss. Chris Coleman from Unique on the Strip, and Steve Powers, our man from the Flora-Bama, will join the tailgate party as well. This is the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. It's brought to you by Yuengling Lager. Yuengling is a 6th-generation company, right? Cheryl Yuengling, who's part of the ownership, family ownership, proud Alabama grad, and there's a little bit of crimson love in each one of these green bottles. It's really great to have Lance Taylor on, and before we say anything else, condolences go out to my partner, Clint Lamb. Had a devastating loss in his family this week. Not going to be on the show this week. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers go out to him and his entire family as they mourn. We mourn with you, Clint, and we love you. And for everyone out there, send positivity, send prayers to Clint and the Lamb family. LT, it's great to have you on the show, man. Thank you for jumping in. Number 9, Alabama, 7-2. Number 11, Ole Miss, 8-1. But first, welcome on, my friend. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm not doing as well as you. You're my favorite bar in the world right now at the Flora-Bama. And, I've seen you a couple of times since we were down there in July, and we went down to broadcast for a couple of days. I ended up staying a week. It's that much fun. So make sure you tell Steve Powers, one of my favorite people in the world, that I said hello. But, man, I appreciate you having me on tonight, man. This is it's unusual circumstances. We hadn't seen this since 2010, and I'm really surprised at where this Alabama team is. One play here or there, this team could be undefeated. Number one, of course, one play here or there, this team could have 4 losses.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. I mean, and we're going to talk about that. Let me remind everybody that's hanging out with us on the YouTube channel, the Bama Insider YouTube channel. Thank you guys. Like and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up. 80,000 plus subscribers on YouTube. And we appreciate every single one of you guys. Hit the bell so you know. Look, there's the walkway where we're at right now, LT, on the lower level of the Flora-Bama. Things will get wild before this this show is over. Hey, and if you're listening on the statewide network,
I've always said, Mick, the greatest superpower would be the ability to teleport. And if I could teleport, I would be there with you right now.
Dude, that's what you need to be here for one of these shows is what you need to do, man. Like, it's a Friday.
Well, you're going to join us. So we'll be down. Obviously, it'll be almost after the season. It'll be that final standalone game. We're coming down for the Army-Navy game. And so we'll be broadcasting our regular show Friday 9 to 1, and then we'll do a specialty show on Saturday. And I've heard it's a great scene with all the veterans coming out for that game. And, that's obviously a special game. So we'll be down there for that. I know you're going to come by and join us. But, yeah, next year I'm going to make plans for one of these off weeks to come down because, I mean, that place is great any time of year.
Look, man, you just kind of brought this up, and we're going to talk football here in a second, but I got to thank you on this right now, you and Ryan Haney, for helping us get this show started, putting us on Jocks 2. We're still on there. You guys airing it on your media on the next round. Kyle Henderson putting it on digital. 3 years ago, I never knew that we were going to really be rocking it like this, but thank you, man. Thank you for being a part of this from my start, from kind of taking it to where we were to where we are now. Thanks, brother.
Well, look, man, I appreciate it. I remember still where I was when you and I talked for the first time, and our buddy Heath Haley kind of hooked us up.
Meathead.
And,
I call him Meathead.
Yeah, Meathead, and there's good reasons behind that. But I remember our first discussion on getting you on, the original platform, and then where we are now. But, it's just obviously doing what I do for a living in Birmingham. I mean, I know the passion of this fan base, and you guys have grown it so much. And, I'm the biggest Rams fan in the world, so I can kind of relate to Alabama fans and what, these weekends and these Saturdays mean. And so it's fun to come on and talk about, man.
Hey, let's get into this right now then. What a weird place for Alabama to be right now, Lance.
Yeah, it seems like a different makeup of this team for whatever reason. I mean, it's easy to point at a couple of things. The offensive line has not been great. Not that it was great last year, and they played for a national championship, had a lead in the second half of that game against Georgia. But there is such a difference at wide receiver. And we had, former Alabama quarterback Tyler Watts on today, and I said, look, if they just had one difference maker, one guy that could stretch the field, if they had that Jamison Williams from last year, where would this team be? And probably a completely different dynamic. It's just this group of receivers, nobody separated themselves. We've seen a rotation of 7 or 8 guys out there every Saturday. And, some guys will have a moment like Ja'Cory Brooks, looks like he's going to break out. And it just doesn't happen. And this is the first time since 2007, since actually Julio signed on, that you haven't had an elite wide receiver.
Hey, can you hear me now?
I got you.
Okay, yep. You pick it right up there. We'll fix this in post, and remember it airs tomorrow. So,
yeah, no, all good. So just pick it back up where I was.
Yeah, just Ja'Cory Brooks.
Yeah. So Ja'Cory Brooks shows those flashes of being, a guy. We saw him in clutch time last year in Jordan Hare on that final possession and make just an incredible grab. And he shows moments this year, but nobody separated themselves. And we really, for Alabama, they haven't had an alpha receiver, or this is the first time they haven't had an alpha since Julio Jones' freshman year. So it's really strange to see, because that's one of the things that you can count on with these Nick Saban teams is having elite receivers.
Is this team going to be able to respond today against Ole Miss?
I think so. Of course, Mick, I've been wrong. I thought Tennessee would be a good game, but Alabama would ultimately, pull away. I thought the same with LSU. I just didn't see Jaden Daniels doing what he did. I'm a USC guy. I've watched a lot of Jackson Dart last year as a true freshman have to take over for Keaton Slovis when he went down. And Jackson is a quarterback that's growing. He's got a lot of talent. He's not what Jaden Daniels is yet. I just, I believe Alabama, following a loss since 2008, they're 9-0, and they've won by an average of 32-7. So you're just not used to seeing. I know they've lost 2 games in the last 3 weeks, but you're not used to seeing Alabama lose back-to-back games. It hasn't happened since the end of 2013, and it would be just mind-blowing to think that Alabama could lose 3 of 4 games in a regular season. But this, man, the struggles on the road are real.
Yeah.
We go back the last couple of years, this year and last year, outside of Mississippi State and Starkville, these games have been nail-biters. Of the last 8 games on the road, Alabama has trailed in 5 of those in the fourth quarter. So they have really struggled.
Do you expect changes to this coaching staff at the end of the year?
Yeah, I don't think, I think Nick Saban has always done a good job of insulating his assistants. And, he's basically taking the bullet for these guys right now. And he's not going to throw anybody under the bus. I don't know how Bill O'Brien survives. Just how out of sync this offense is. I go back to last week, the first possession against LSU, they went right down, and it looked like, a 2020, 2021 version of Alabama. And then Bryce Young uncharacteristically throws that pick. And you just wonder how different things would have been if he doesn't throw that pick. But outside of that, there was no rhythm with the offense, and there really hasn't been the entire year. So I'll be very surprised if Bill O'Brien is still around next year.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. And what would you say has gone wrong with Alabama?
I think it's receivers. I really do. I mean, we know Bryce is a complete stud. Jahmyr Gibbs, he is a guy that probably doesn't get enough touches. He's only averaging 12.5 rushing attempts per game. But I just think it comes down to wide receivers. They're not getting separation. They're not running great routes. Bryce Young seems to not have a lot of confidence or trust in these guys. So I think it's as simple as that. And by the way, on the other side of the ball, I got to say this. The defense at times looks really good, but the defense is forcing no turnovers.
Yeah, right.
And I believe that through 9 games, I think the defense now has forced 8 turnovers. Outside of Auburn, the worst turnover margin in the SEC. And you're just not used to seeing that with an Alabama defense.
The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is brought to you by Pearl River Resort and Casino in Choctaw. Now's a great time to make your picks count at the Timeout Sports Lounge and Sports Book. A little Vegas sports book right over there in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Lane Kiffin has been great at Ole Miss, but beating Nick Saban could help him establish himself as an elite coach. We're going to talk about that next. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show right after this. We'll be back.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Make this Christmas one to remember with the classical gift of Daniel A. Moore Fine Art. From heirloom quality limited edition prints and canvases to our smaller collegiate classics, collector mugs, and 2023 Crimson and White Fine Art calendar, you'll find the perfect gifts that your Bama fans will treasure for years to come. Don't miss our exciting holiday specials. Visit New Life Art Gallery in Hoover or danielmooreart.com today.
Tuscaloosa is Alabama's ultimate sports destination and a place for outdoor enthusiasts to thrive. It's a community rooted in history and one that's on the cusp of a burgeoning art scene too. Tuscaloosa is vibrant, it's charming, and it's familiar. Its people welcome you with open arms and warm hellos into a community that's tied together. Tuscaloosa is our home.
Touchdown! Hey guys, look at me. Now look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made All-State if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays, you'll be making the bets. And finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
Nothing compares to being at the game in person, but the next best thing has to be Flora-Bama's Ole River Grill. There's over 40 TVs, a game day atmosphere, your favorite drinks, and a football menu that will blow you away. Santa Fe egg rolls, traditional jumbo chicken wings, grilled cheese and chili cheese dogs, and you've got to try our tender pork shank served with a tropical habanero sauce. We call them Island Pig Wings. Flora-Bama's Ole River Grill, the perfect game day when you can't be there in person. Flora-Bama's Ole River Grill, across the street from the world-famous Flora-Bama.
There's a new place where thrill meets chill, where the fun is always tropical cool, inside and out. The park at OWA is now Tropic Falls Theme Park, joined by the all-new indoor water park now open. Come to OWA and experience Tropic Falls. It's like nothing you've ever seen, with 23 theme park rides and 11 new indoor water park slides, complete with lazy river and arcade. All at Tropic Falls, only at OWA Parks and Resort. Buy your tickets online and save at visitowa.com.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines two of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Bama Insider Tailgate Show, talking to you live from the Flora-Bama, getting you ready for today's 2:30 kickoff, Alabama and Ole Miss. Let me remind you guys that our show is presented by Cathead, the first legal distillery in the state of Mississippi, founded in 2010 by friends and Alabama grads, fellow Alabama grads, alumni, Austin Evans and Richard Patrick, to create small batch spirits that give you a taste of the South with every sip. Best known for its flagship, Cathead Vodka. Cathead Distillery produces 5 award-winning brands today, including Bristow Gin, Hoodoo Chicory Liqueur, Old Soul Bourbon Whiskey, and Cathead Sparkling Canned Cocktails. Find out for yourself. Take them to your next tailgate party, catheaddistillery.com. Guys, as you hang out with us on the Bama Insider YouTube channel, like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Share, man. It is so good to have you here with us. And don't forget, you can join Bama Insider now that we're part of On3 and the On3 Network. $10 for an entire year. That's recruiting. That's all the great team coverage with Clint Lamb and the entire crew. Find out for yourself and take that challenge. $10 for a year or $1 for 4 months. And after the game, we'll be back on the YouTube channel taking your calls with the post-game show. Great to have Lance Taylor on from the Next Round joining us on our show today. And I'm sure, Lance, a lot of people that listen to you guys hear our show on your stuff, and now all of a sudden you're on. So it's awesome to have you, man.
Yeah, man. Again, anytime. It's always fun, and I appreciate working with you any chance I get.
I got to tell you this before we get into the Rebels and Lane Kiffin is Clint, one of our listeners, good buddy, to the show, showed up. He said, the Flora-Bama, I feel like if I died, this would be what it would be like. I thought that's the best compliment you could give any establishment.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be a little too debaucherous for heaven, but we can only hope, right?
Yeah.
We can only hope.
Sand and beach and, and bushwhackers and everything else.
Bushwhackers and
yeah. Tip to you, though.
Co-eds running around everywhere.
Tip to you. They have floaters. Found out the hard way in 2015 at the Ole Miss game. We talked about that last week. I don't want to recap it, but if something happens, you can't blame it on the oysters. Just know that there's – it's hard to talk when you've had too many drinks. I'll just say that.
I got to be honest, man. I love the Bushwhacker, but I avoid the floater now.
Yeah.
That extra shot of rum on top is a little too much for me.
No, if I did it, I would do screwball. All right, let's talk Alabama and the Rebels. Do you think the Rebs do you think this will be the best matchup for Ole Miss against Alabama today? And what do you think would be the best match? Probably need to say this over again. What do you think would be the best matchup today for the Rebels against Alabama?
Well, I Quinshon Judkins has been so good. I don't know if I trust Jackson Dart fully against Alabama's defense, but these running quarterbacks, mobile quarterbacks, have given Alabama all types of problems. And Jackson Dart is a very athletic guy. I think he's third on the team right now behind Judkins and Zach Evans. So this is a guy that is capable of giving Alabama problems with his legs. I would say right now Ole Miss leads the SEC in rushing, but Alabama's third against the run, only giving up 104 yards per game. Ole Miss goes 200 plus on the ground. I think Alabama's got some problems. If Alabama can limit them to under 200, I know that sounds like a lot, but I just don't think that Jackson Dart's going to be able to beat Alabama with his arm. So, I think the key matchup is Alabama's rush defense against Judkins and Zach Evans.
What do you think makes Jackson Dart effective?
His athleticism. He's got a live arm, too. He's got a lot of confidence, too. I think the kid's only 18 years old. Again, he was thrown into the fire last year as a true freshman. And at times he was really good, and at times he was really erratic. And you see a little bit of that this year. But I think Lane Kiffin's done a really good job with him because he's got more consistency this year. But I think it's more his athleticism. He's a tough kid, too.
Last time Alabama went to Oxford, it was 63-48. Do you think that today's game is going to be another shootout?
I do not think it will. I think it plays under, to be honest with you. I think this game's a 42-28 type of game. I do like Alabama to win this game by double digits. I think it's going to be tight for a while. But I would be shocked if, that game, Ole Miss, I think they scored every possession. Did they not? I think there was one turnover maybe. And Alabama did score every possession.
Yeah, they missed like 50 yards or 49 yards the entire game or something.
Yeah, I don't think either one of the offenses is as good as they were 2 years ago.
Yeah, look, I tend to agree with you. What will today's game tell us, though, one way or the other?
Well, I think what's interesting, Mick, is what happens at 11 o'clock today, with LSU traveling to Fayetteville to take on Arkansas. LSU's coming off, obviously, an emotional win in overtime against Alabama. Arkansas is coming off a terrible loss to Liberty at home. And it just, to me, it sets up as a trap game for LSU. I think Arkansas wins that game, and I think it makes this game much more important. At least it extends, the life of Alabama for possibly getting back to a college football playoff. I think it'll ultimately come to an end because I don't see LSU losing to Texas A&M. A&M's that bad this year. But I think it makes it really interesting. And it makes it really interesting for Ole Miss, too, because, if LSU loses this game, then Ole Miss is in the driver's seat. They control their own destiny to get to Atlanta for the first time ever.
Yeah, so that's a great point.
Yeah, I think this game's going to be huge, especially if Arkansas wins.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's crazy to think how fast LSU got things turned in this direction. But, I've said this all week. I feel like Alabama played an NFL-style road schedule this year. And I go back years and years and years. I don't remember Alabama playing a tougher road schedule. Georgia, and no one in the SEC's played a road schedule like this. And it just fell that way. But this is what it looks like in the NFL when you're going to all places each week where a team can beat you.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, starting with Texas and going to Tennessee and going to LSU. I mean, now you've got Ole Miss. I mean, all of these teams, and, if Texas beats TCU today, which I think they will, Texas is going to be a top 15 team. So we're talking about 4 top 15 teams on the road. That's brutal.
Do you think that in the future we're going to see more schedules like this on the road, though, because of the fact that the college football playoff? Look, if there was a college football playoff right now, Alabama would be fine.
Yeah, I think when we expand to 12, whether that's 2024, 2025, or 2026, I think sooner than later. I think teams aren't going to be afraid to schedule difficult road games, and we'll come to a point where a 3-loss team will get in. There's a good chance again. Ole Miss has an opportunity. Alabama still has an opportunity. LSU and Alabama still have opportunities with 2 losses to get in this. Once you expand it to 12, I think you'll see some 3-loss teams in there.
Ole Miss coach Lane Kiffin, do you think he's going to be the next Auburn coach?
I do not. I think he's in a good spot right now. I just don't think he fits well. I think there's obviously a lot of politics with that job. I don't think that Lane would get along with those boosters. Lane does things Lane's way, and I just don't think the machine that is behind Auburn really wants that. Now, you talk to any Auburn fan out there, they're all 100% in on Lane. I think Hugh Freeze is the great fit. I think Hugh Freeze makes a lot of sense. He's got baggage. Lane's got baggage. One baggage is more public than the other. But I just think Hugh Freeze culturally fits exactly what Auburn wants. And Hugh Freeze can coach, man.
Yeah, right. But, I mean, are they going to – would the SEC block Hugh Freeze? And if Hugh Freeze ends up at Auburn, does that open the door for Jeremy Pruitt to come back to Alabama as like part of the defensive staff?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I've had people ask me about Jeremy Pruitt and what's going to happen with him. And obviously, he's been tagged. But Bruce Pearl was tagged, and Auburn took a chance on him. And even coming into his first year or two, I forgot if it was just 1 or 2 years, he was still under, NCAA probation. So, I've heard mixed results on what Greg Sankey would say about Hugh Freeze coming back to the SEC. Ultimately, I think if Auburn really wanted him to be the coach, I think Greg Sankey probably would sign off on it. I mean, everybody's got baggage. Again, this is a little more sensationalized or a little more sexy, a little more sizzle with what went down with Hugh Freeze. But I think he's paid his price. He seems like he really he seems like somebody that I don't know. He's asked for forgiveness. He seems like he truly is remorseful. I think he should be given a second chance. I'd like to see him back in the SEC.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm with you. I mean, it'd be interesting if a guy that gave Alabama so much trouble was down at Auburn or somewhere else. I mean, maybe there's somebody else, but he just got an extension with Liberty, a big extension.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's making $5 million a year now, but if you can make 7.5 and go to Auburn, a place where we've seen, coaches compete and win national championships, twice over the last 12 years. And if you go back to 2016 or 17, it was, they had a chance to beat Auburn in the SEC championship game and get in with 2 losses into the college football playoff. So you can win a championship at Auburn. I'm not sure you can at Ole Miss. So that might be one of the factors that Lane Kiffin would look at. But I still think Lane's in a really good spot right now. Hugh Freeze would definitely take the Auburn job, although that Liberty gave him that raise. Hugh's in a good spot, though, man. I mean, he can make a ton of money. Watching this year, I think they're the best Group 5 team. Today we'll see Central Florida and Tulane play, and the winner of that game will be in the driver's seat to represent the Group 5 for the New Year's Six. But I think ultimately Liberty's going to be that team.
Yeah. Now, look, we'll find out. It's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing shakes out. And don't forget, LT, remind everybody that you guys are going to be here when the Army-Navy game takes place at the Flora-Bama. And the Flora-Bama is fired up to have you guys, by the way.
Yeah, I think it's December 9th. I think that is the weekend, 8th, 9th, something like that. Second weekend, the weekend after the SEC championship game. Yeah, we'll be down there coming out on Thursday night. We'll do the show Friday live 9 to 1. And then we'll do a specialty show on Saturday as we get ready for Army-Navy at 2:30. So super pumped up about that, man, and just excited to be back down to the Flora-Bama, hang out with you. And I can't wait. We've still got some really good college football, and I think today is going to be a bloody Saturday. I think we're going to have 4 teams in the top 15 that will lose today.
Oh, we will see. That's Lance Taylor from the Next Round. Thank you, my brother, for coming on. Let me remind you guys that our show is brought to you in part by Daniel A. Moore. Crimson Connection is Daniel A. Moore's tribute in oils to Bryce Young's Alabama 4th Heisman Trophy winner. It's a full-color oil painting. It depicts Bryce Young's memorable Heisman-worthy go-ahead pinpoint pass to John Mechie in the corner of the end zone as the Tide beat Georgia and that big-time defense that eventually won the national championship, by the way, in last year's SEC championship game. NewLifeArt.com for more information. Bryce Young's even signed some of those, and right now you get 15% off our 2023 Crimson and White Fine Art calendars. This includes limited edition calendars, 8x10s. There's a lithograph of The Legacy Begins, so it's a $25 value that's in there as well, and that's Daniel Moore's newest painting of Alabama's first national championship game against the Washington Huskies. Remember the Rose Bowl back in 1926. Use the code NOTTY at checkout. That offer ends November 13th, 2022. When we come back, we're going to talk with Thom Abraham from up in North Alabama from the Flora-Bama. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show continues after this.
Hi, Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced, and Tuscaloosa Hyundai doesn't add the side sticker. Side stickers mean you pay thousands more. Everything is value priced at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. No additional dealer markups. It's just that simple. So if you're tired of getting stuck with side stickers, no additional markup is why you come to Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines 2 of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Check out Pawn Royale at 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport. The summer season is almost over. Time to go to Pawn Royale and find some amazing deals. Right now, our lawn and gardening inventory must go. That includes mowers, trimmers, blowers, chainsaws, you name it. Pawn Royale has deals on everything. Many items at cost or less. If you're in the market, come make a deal. That's Pawn Royale, 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport.
Unique on the Strip. It's the best place to watch sports.
You're not even kidding. 11 TVs, NFL and MLB package, NHL, EPL, and so much more. If you want a game, they have it.
Now they're doing weekly NFL Pick'em, winners every Sunday, and grand prizes on Super Bowl Sunday.
And we haven't even mentioned the drink specials.
Of course they have daily drink specials. You can see them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Unique T-Town every day.
Unique on the Strip. The best place to watch sports in Tuscaloosa.
Touchdown! Hey guys, look at me. Now look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made All-State if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays, you'll be making the bets, and finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
Tuscaloosa is Alabama's ultimate sports destination and a place for outdoor enthusiasts to thrive. It's a community rooted in history and one that's on the cusp of a burgeoning art scene too. Tuscaloosa is vibrant, it's charming, and it's familiar. Its people welcome you with open arms and warm hellos into a community that's tied together. Tuscaloosa is our home.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yuengling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, near Home 2 Suites, or Northport, next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yuengling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Back in on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, always brought to you by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery. And as we broadcast our show this week, Alabama and Ole Miss, 2:30 kickoff time in Oxford, Mississippi. We are at the Flora-Bama on the coast. Perdido Key, a great place. But another great place this time of year is Sevierville. And we were there earlier this year at Trotter's Whole Hog. Great to be part of the show, Sevierville.com. And when you go to Sevierville this time of year, I mean, you're talking about the weather changing, the leaves in the mountains, and the holidays. They've got 4 different self-guided fall tours that take you through the back roads and highlight historical points of interest and beautiful fall views. As I mentioned, you can find maps and videos and more at visitsevierville.com.
Autumn brings vivid colors to the back roads and hollows of Sevierville, Tennessee. Wind your way to quaint country churches, a historic covered bridge, and even a pick-your-own apple orchard. This fall, the best views are yours on Sevierville's Rocky Flats Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Well, here he is, not in Sevierville, but in Tennessee, is Mr. Thom Abraham. You guys know him from his show, The Thom Abraham Show, which now airs noon to 2 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and a regular part of our show, our affiliate in North Alabama, and Points Beyond. What's up, Tom?
How you doing, man? Perdido Bay, huh? I love it down there, man. That is just so great. They used to be a big sponsor of my show, Perdido Bay, and they the Flora-Bama too. I mean, come on, it's legendary Flora-Bama. That's a great place to be.
Tom, we need to get you down to the show live at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe the bowl game show. We'll see. And we'll get into this because it's not going to be an SEC championship game show like normal. We're not going to have a college playoff show, but we will have a bowl show no matter what.
Well, I guess it'll probably be, I don't know, the Independence Bowl or the Birmingham Bowl. We listen to Paul Feinbaum. I mean, it's over, right? It's dead. The dynasty is dead. They'd be like they're barely bowl eligible now. I mean, it's been like 10 months now since they've even been in a college football playoff game, and almost 2 years since Alabama won a national championship. So the dynasty is over due to these 2 losses. It's pretty obvious. I mean, I think that's clear. Birmingham Bowl probably is where we'll be at.
I love that you brought this up because you're leading me into my second question, but let's start there. Paul Feinbaum throwing dirt on Nick Saban and the dynasty. He mentions the fact that, Alabama did lose 2 games by 4 points, but they could have lost some other close games as well. Forget about the fact that they won a championship in 2020. He thinks that you got to win a championship more than that. Playing in the title game doesn't matter to him. I also see his point, like this Alabama team really hasn't felt like the Alabama teams in the past. They're not physical on defense. They make a lot of mistakes. They're undisciplined, right? You wonder about their motivation. Your thoughts on everything going on right now with this program being 7-2?
Yeah, he's right about that part. And let's face it, too, these 2 losses by a total of 4 points, they were a total of 24-point favorites in those 2 games. So these are double-digit, they're double-digit favorites in games like they are this weekend. and they're losing those football games. Absolutely, this is a different-looking Alabama squad. I'm just not ready to say that Nick Saban can't bounce back like he did in 2011, like he did, in 2017. Every time they have a little bit of a down season, everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon that's the end of it. And I'm not sure that adjustments can't be made for them to come back, as strong as ever. The biggest takeaway I got was watching the Georgia-Tennessee game. I mean, you take that Georgia Kirby Smart coach team. They play Oregon, they play Tennessee. Both teams average over 48 points a game, and they squeeze the life out of them and hold them to a total of 1 touchdown between those two teams. That was Alabama. That's the Alabama of the early part of the decade, the 2010 to 2015 Tide team. Run the ball. Use a quarterback that doesn't make mistakes and just kind of, play action off of the running game, can make a play for you every once in a while, but he's not the whole team. And play smothering, violent, run to the ball defense and out scheme people who come in with these fancy offenses. That you want to see Alabama 2010, 2015, there it is. It's in Athens, Georgia now. And, so that's the thing that was my biggest takeaway. And, Kirby Smart was a big part of that. So you have to look at that.
Look, I feel like this Alabama road schedule, and I've said this from the beginning. I mean, I feel like this is the toughest road schedule that Alabama's played since I've been covering them. It reminds me of an NFL road schedule. You don't see college teams playing 5 games like this in those environments. Normally you'll have a Vanderbilt, or you don't play 5 legitimate road games. So, part of that to me factors into this. But the other thing is that I just feel like Bill O'Brien isn't creative enough on offense. He's been a step back from where they were with Steve Sarkisian and Lane Kiffin, even Mike Loxley. And the defense, after you mentioned it, after watching the Tennessee game, Tennessee-Georgia game, I'm wondering, how did Alabama not attack more at the line of scrimmage? Why would they sit back and let this guy throw all over them? They have better personnel up front, yet they got no pass rush. And I just didn't feel like the game plan. And I know Kirby had a couple more weeks, to look at things, but I just feel like the coordinators aren't doing a good job this year for Alabama. I think they're okay.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Now, defensively, I'm not one that jumps all over Pete Golding because, look, that's a Nick Saban defense. Nick Saban's fingerprints are all over the defense. If Nick Saban wants them to be sending 6 and being more aggressive defensively, Nick Saban will simply tell Pete Golding, look, attack, attack, attack. He puts his stamp on the defensive game plan, really on the whole game plan each and every week. So I'm not going to, just pile on Pete Golding. That's like being a defensive coordinator with Bill Belichick.
Right.
Bill Belichick's fingertips are all over the defense. Offensively, though, with O'Brien, Saban has had a tendency to allow his offensive coordinators to run their stuff. It'll be very interesting to see the contrast this week at Ole Miss, because you know what Ole Miss is still doing, what Lane Kiffin's still doing? How about a jet sweep once in a while? You got a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs. You got Burton that's supposed to be a speed guy, JoJo Earl. Whatever happened to the jet sweep that Alabama ran over and over and over again back in the day? Well, you see it at Ole Miss. The Tide is so predictable offensively. And the other thing is, that was a 1-score game the entire game. They called 54 pass plays and 26 run plays.
Yep.
54. Now, the book will show you 51 passes, but there were it was 55 pass plays. There were 5 runs by Bryce Young that were all scrambles on passing plays. So they called 55 pass plays in a 1-score game. And, oh, by the way, they averaged 6.5 yards a carry. Jahmyr Gibbs had 15 carries for 101 yards. He had 6 yards a carry, 6.5 yards a carry. So it's not like it wasn't working. Whatever happened to the day of lining up and beating on people and wearing them down with your offensive line, 3 yards a gain in the first quarter, 6 yards in the second, 12 yards in the third, and you break a couple of long ones in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's frustrating, is that offense is not there anymore.
Yeah, well, and I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, we're thinking the same way here. What happened to the balance? The LSU game and the same in the Texas game, you get into these where they keep punting the ball and you look at it, it's like we're throwing on first down incomplete. The receivers aren't getting open. You're not being creative. You're right. Where's the jet sweep? Where's the receiver screen where the receivers block and help the other guy get 5 or 6 yards at least, right? There's so many things that are missing with this offense. And it's an offensive league. But to me, the most baffling part of it is that in the beginning of that LSU game, watching them continue to throw the football deep in LSU territory instead of trying to run and not be so predictable. And then they were in 3rd and long every single time.
The only balanced drive they had was the first drive, and they went right down the field. They had 3 runs and 3 passes on that first drive, and then the terrible decision by Bryce Young to kind of throw back, no-look pass into the end zone, and it gets intercepted. You pound that ball, Alabama that we all came to love pounds that ball into the end zone. But here's the problem. You have a superstar quarterback in Bryce Young, who, by the way, is going to leave Alabama without a national championship as a starter. Tua Tagovailoa, a superstar talent who left Alabama without a national championship as a starter. Couldn't stay healthy. Of course, he bailed out who? Jalen Hurts, who left Alabama without a national championship as a starter. He needed Tua Tagovailoa to bail him out as a freshman in the 2017 game. You know who's won national championships for Alabama? Greg McElroy, Jake Coker, A.J. McCarron, and Mac Jones. When you don't put it all on the quarterback, all right, when you put it as a full team effort, that wins championships for Alabama. It seems like these superstar quarterbacks they've had, they just think that they got a toy and they're going to throw it a million times because the guy can. Just because the guy can do it doesn't mean you should do it.
What are you expecting today, Alabama and Ole Miss?
I think it's going to be a tough game. I mean, again, Alabama, double-digit favorite, 11.5 points, too much. I think this is a full 60-minute deal. They better figure out a way to stop the run because Lane Kiffin is going to line up, shorten the game, pound the ball like crazy. It's number 3 rushing attack in the entire country. So the interior of that defense is going to have to be stout. That's the way they'll neutralize the strong edge rushers of Alabama's defense. And offensively, I think you're going to see them get back to running a little bit. I think this is going to be very similar to what happened with Mississippi State after the loss to Tennessee. That's why I was stunned that it went back to kind of being the way it was before. I thought Mississippi State, that would have been the model going forward. So I think we'll see more of that. Alabama pulls it out. It's a close game. They win this game by maybe 4 points, something along those lines. And then all eyes are on, Arkansas is only a 3-point dog to LSU. God forbid Arkansas bounces back from a horrible loss against Liberty and dumps LSU. Then we all go to the final week wondering whether or not Texas A&M can win a game at home against LSU, which would put Alabama back in Atlanta. I mean, it would be mind-boggling to think, but that Arkansas-LSU game is obviously very, very fascinating.
No, I'd love to see that. I'm not predicting that it would happen, but in the course of Nick Saban's career, stranger things have happened before, right? Yeah, especially when everyone decides that the dynasty's over and that that he's done. It seems like he always comes out with something like this. Thom, always great to talk to you, my friend. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thom Abraham from 97.7 ESPN The Zone. That's our affiliate up in North Alabama. Let me remind you guys that the Bama Insider Tailgate Show is presented by Tuscaloosa Hyundai. The Elantra, the Sinatra, or an SUV like the Tucson, tailgating doesn't get any better. We're going to talk recruiting with Andrew Bone when we return. Alabama and Ole Miss, 2:30 from Oxford, and we'll be previewing that. Don't go anywhere. More coming up. Head, the first legal distillery in the state of Mississippi. Founded in 2010 by friends and fellow Alabama grads Austin Evans and Richard Patrick to create small batch spirits that give the taste of the South with every sip. Best known for its flagship Cathead Vodka, Cathead Distillery produces 5 award-winning brands. Find out for yourself and pick some up for your next party or tailgate. CatheadDistillery.com.
Touchdown! Hey guys, look at me. Now look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made All-State if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays. You'll be making the bets. And finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
Make this Christmas one to remember with the classical gift of Daniel A. Moore fine art. From heirloom quality limited edition prints and canvases to our smaller collegiate classics, collector mugs, and 2023 Crimson and White fine art calendar, you'll find the perfect gifts that your Bama fans will treasure for years to come. Don't miss our exciting holiday specials. Visit New Life Art Gallery in Hoover or danielmooreart.com today.
Autumn brings vivid colors to the back roads and hollows of Sevierville, Tennessee. Wind your way to quaint country churches, a historic covered bridge, and even a pick-your-own apple orchard. This fall, the best views are yours on Sevierville's Rocky Flats Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Nothing compares to being at the game in person, but the next best thing has to be Flora-Bama's Ole River Grill. There's over 40 TVs, a game day atmosphere, your favorite drinks, and a football menu that will blow you away. Santa Fe egg rolls, traditional jumbo chicken wings, grilled cheese and chili cheese dogs, and you've got to try our tender pork shank served with a tropical habanero sauce. We call them Island Pig Wings. Flora-Bama's Ole River Grill, the perfect game day when you can't be there in person. Flora-Bama's Ole River Grill, across the street from the world-famous Flora-Bama.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines 2 of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Back in on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show from Perdido Key, the Flora-Bama. That's where we're hanging out for our show. That's where we do our road game shows for the most part. And we appreciate you guys being here with us. This segment with our good friend Andrew Bone from Bama Insider is brought to you by Tuscaloosa Hyundai as we get you ready for Alabama and Ole Miss. 2:30 kickoff from Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Our good friend Barry Buckner taking care of you over on the corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced, and Tuscaloosa Hyundai doesn't add the side sticker. Side stickers mean you pay thousands more. Everything is value priced at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. No additional dealer markups. It's just that simple. Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced. So if you're tired of getting stuck with side stickers, no additional markup is why you come to Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
All right, there you go. Tuscaloosa Hyundai always brings you driving around recruiting with Andrew Bone. Like and subscribe as you guys watch on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. And if you're hanging out with us on radio, whether our flagship station, Jocks Radio in Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, or across the state, our friends in Coleman, our friends in Jasper, our friends in North Alabama, wherever you're at, man, Roll Tide, thank you guys for being a part of our Saturday. All right, Bone, what's up, brother? Have you recovered from that disappointing loss against LSU last week?
Yeah, I think so. We'll have to, kind of see how the rest of the season plays out. Alabama's had a lot of big wins down in Baton Rouge in the past, so I expect more wins here in the future. Obviously, a tough loss, meant a lot more, as far as the national scene and also the SEC scene than anything. It wasn't just a loss. It kind of kicked Alabama out of the running for the SEC championship. I guess if LSU loses the next couple games, they can Alabama can sneak back in there, but be surprised if that happens. And then it certainly looks like Alabama's out of the hunt for a national title this year. But we've seen it before. I mean, we've seen Alabama lose games. We've seen them lose multiple times during the season. During the Nick Saban era. And they typically bounce back. Whether that's coaching changes, whether that's bringing in top-rated recruiting class. I mean, how many top-rated recruiting classes have we seen at Alabama? That can kind of reignite things in Tuscaloosa. So, I don't think the dynasty, the run for Alabama is over quite yet. Maybe it's over when Coach Saban retires and they bring in a new staff. But I think with Coach Saban still at the helm, he's going to be able to bring in a lot of talent. Not only players, but also potential coaches. If there's any coaching changes here, whether that's this year, if it's 10 years from now,
right.
We know Coach Saban's always going to go out and try to get the best people, regardless. So I think Alabama fans are still very trustworthy in Coach Saban, and I think that today's a big day for them to right the ship.
Let's talk Alabama and Ole Miss. Are there any recruiting battles going on between these two schools as they play football today?
Well, there's a pretty big one, and that's Centarian Perkins, the number one the player in the state of Mississippi. He is one of the best inside linebackers in the country. He actually plays on both sides of the ball, but this is a guy that is being recruited as a linebacker. He's been a top target for the Crimson Tide for a long time. I actually grew up an Alabama fan. His family also Alabama fans, but he's been committed to Ole Miss, for a good while, and has stayed true to his commitment, thus far in his recruitment. So we'll see how things go with Centarian Perkins over the course of the next 5 weeks in his recruitment, all the way until that early signing period. He's visited Alabama several times, including the Texas A&M game earlier this season. He is expected in Tuscaloosa for the Iron Bowl, and is also going to be taking his official visit to Alabama in December. So there's definitely a major recruiting battle still ongoing between Alabama and Ole Miss for the Rebels linebacker commitment, Centarian Perkins, who will also be in Oxford today for the game. A couple other guys that Alabama and Ole Miss are both recruiting, more so underclassmen. You got Daniel Hill, who's a running back / athlete out of Meridian High School. He's certainly a big target for both schools. Alabama has done a really good job early in that recruitment, and I think they've currently have the edge for Daniel Hill. And then Jordan Lockhart, who's also going to be in Oxford this weekend, linebacker out of California, was actually in Tuscaloosa for the Mississippi State game a couple weekends ago. There's definitely a lot of interest there in Jordan Lockhart from the Crimson Tide, but as of right now, still committed to Ole Miss. Now there's a couple of Alabama commitments, who expressed some interest in Ole Miss before their commitment, and that includes Wilkin Formby, the big 6'8", 310-pound lineman from Tuscaloosa. He had Ole Miss on the short list. I think they were probably number 2 when he made that decision for the Crimson Tide. Now, obviously, he's been pretty solid with his commitment ever since he made that decision. I don't see him flipping at all. But then, one other guy is Justin Jefferson, the number 2 junior college player in the country, top linebacker, top defensive player in junior college out of Pearl River Community College. He has definitely shown some interest in Ole Miss. He visited Ole Miss earlier this season. There's still some interest there, but in the end, I like Alabama's chances. He says that he's very solid with his commitment. I don't think he plans on taking any other official visits, and plans on enrolling at Alabama in January. So those are definitely 2 guys in Alabama's commitment on Alabama's commitment list, who did show interest in Ole Miss earlier in the season, but as of right now, very solid with the Crimson Tide.
Great hanging out with Andrew Bone here on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Bone, 1 minute to talk about a couple of guys who visited Georgia last week in Athens, Caleb Downs and Justice Haynes. They coming to Alabama still?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, these are the two guys that, Alabama fans hope that, Nick Saban can hang on to, the top two players in the state of Georgia. Depending on who you talk to, whether you read message boards and listen to every single rumor, or if you actually talk to the people who cover these kids. Obviously, we talk to enough people, but we also talk to the people in Georgia. We talk to the guys that cover the Georgia Bulldogs and get their take on things, because they talk to a lot of people over in Georgia. They get enough information just like we do. And from talking to those guys, everybody seems pretty set that Justice Haynes and Caleb Downs will stick with Alabama. Now, they're continuing to get heavily recruited. It's going to be intense all the way up until signing day. But as of right now, both remain very firm with their commitment.
All right. And Bone, people know you here for doing great work on the recruiting trail, but a lot of people also know you from Andrew J. Bone Real Estate. And that's what brings you on our show each week.
That's right. Well, if you're looking to buy or sell, residential real estate in the Alabama market, in the Tuscaloosa or Birmingham markets, please give us a call. We have offices in both locations. Happy to help you. Looking for a game day condo or rental down in T-Town, give us a call today. If you're looking for a residential home, in Birmingham or anywhere in Tuscaloosa, you can also call us, and we'd be more than happy to help you. Call our office phone number, and they can get you in direct contact with me. Our office number is area code 205-531-5577.
All right. Always great talking to Andrew Bone. And also want to remind you guys that our show is presented by Visit Tuscaloosa. You talk about all the great things going on in T-Town every Saturday. The river market from 7 to noon right there at Tuscaloosa's Farmers Market on Jack Warner Parkway. You got the Tuscaloosa Civil Rights Trail self-guided tour that includes 18 stops around Tuscaloosa, all the great concerts at Tuscaloosa Amphitheater. And don't forget, any sporting event, basketball season's here, softball, baseball, whatever sport you love when you come to town, visit Tuscaloosa.com for more information. When we come back, second hour of the show, we'll talk to Neil McCready from Rebel Grove, talk about these Rebels and everything else going on. We'll have our pick segment and hang out more at the Flora-Bama, more Bama Insider Tailgate Show after this. Check out Pawn Royale at 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport. The summer season is almost over. Time to go to Pawn Royale and find some amazing deals. Right now, our lawn and gardening inventory must go. That includes mowers, trimmers, blowers, chainsaws, you name it. Pawn Royale has deals on everything. Many items at cost or less. If you're in the market, come make a deal. That's Pawn Royale, 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport.
Hi, Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced, and Tuscaloosa Hyundai doesn't add the side sticker. Side stickers mean you pay thousands more. Everything is value priced at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. No additional dealer markups. It's just that simple. So if you're tired of getting stuck with side stickers, no additional markup is why you come to Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
Cathead, the first legal distillery in the state of Mississippi. Founded in 2010 by friends and fellow Alabama grads Austin Evans and Richard Patrick to create small batch spirits that give the taste of the South with every sip. Best known for its flagship Cathead Vodka, Cathead Distillery produces 5 award-winning brands. Find out for yourself and pick some up for your next party or tailgate, catheaddistillery.com.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yingling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, near Home 2 Suites, or Northport, next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You've heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Unique on the Strip. It's the best place to watch sports.
You're not even kidding. 11 TVs, NFL and MLB package, NHL, EPL, and so much more. If you want a game, they have it.
Now they're doing weekly NFL Pick'em, winners every Sunday, and grand prizes on Super Bowl Sunday.
And we haven't even mentioned the drink specials.
Of course they have daily drink specials. You can see them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Unique T-Town every day.
Unique on the Strip, the best place to watch sports in Tuscaloosa.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Autumn brings vivid colors to the back roads and hollows of Sevierville, Tennessee. Wind your way to quaint country churches, a historic covered bridge, and even a pick-your-own apple orchard. This fall, the best views are yours on Sevierville's Rocky Flats Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, talking to you as we get ready for Alabama and Ole Miss. 2:30 kickoff today at Vaught-Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi, a big matchup. Our show's brought to you by Yingling Lager, America's oldest brewery. Let me tell you about Yingling Lager. Our friend Cheryl Yingling went to Alabama from Pottsville, Pennsylvania, 6th-generation ownership, part of the family that started Yingling, and she puts a little crimson love in each one of those green Yingling bottles. This segment with our good friend Neil McCready from Rebel Grove is brought to you by Genesis of Tuscaloosa. Barry Buckner and his staff bring you an award-winning service department right there on Hargrove Road and Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. Find out for yourself. If something happens to your car, they swing to your house, pick it up, drop you off another car, fix it, get it the oil change, whatever you need, and then bring it back. They're the best in the business, and everyone kind of that has been there knows that. Find out for yourself. All right, here he is to start the second hour of the show as we get you ready for Alabama and Ole Miss. A guy that's been covering the Rebels for a long time, and our friend Neil McCready. What's up, brother? How you been?
Mick, it is always good to be with you. As you know, I'm a big fan of your work, not only covering Alabama, but with the Cubs and stuff. And so it's a pleasure and an honor to be with you here today.
I feel the same way, man. Thank you so much for being here, Neil. Let me ask you about this. I feel like we're in a different, spot. I mean, you come on and talk to us every year when Alabama and Ole Miss play. This year, though, Ole Miss has the better record. They have the chance to make the college football playoff, a good shot with some help to get to Atlanta for the first time. How good is this Ole Miss team?
I don't know. Honest answer. I don't know. They do some things well. They do some things where you're like, boy, I tell you, if they run into the wrong team, it's going to get ugly. And you saw some of that with LSU. I think they're good. They've played the schedule that's been put in front of them. It hasn't been the most difficult schedule in the world, but they've handled it 8 out of 9 times. They beat Kentucky at home in a highly anticipated game that I think was a bit of a litmus test, and they passed it. They beat Auburn at home, and everybody goes, well, big deal. But Auburn has always been a problem for Ole Miss. Even when Ole Miss was the better team, they lost to Auburn. They got over that hurdle. And then they went to LSU, and they jumped out to a 17-3 lead. And from that point forward, they lost 42-3. 42-3 from that point forward. So they bounced back and beat A&M in College Station, which was a good win. They desperately needed an open date. They got it. They're fresher now. They've got some guys back this week, I think. But how good are they? I don't know. How good's anybody at this point? I mean, college football feels different this year. There's more parity. I think that's a good thing. The transfer portal has certainly helped programs like Ole Miss a lot, and yet it has made kind of predicting what's going to happen week after week a far more difficult thing to do, because like this game, for example, if you told me Alabama wins by 17 or more, I'm not all that surprised. Really not at all. In fact, I could easily make an argument for how that would happen. No sweat. Ole Miss has 2 freshman offensive tackles going up against those defensive linemen of Alabama. I love Henry To'oTo'o and the DB 14, whose name's escaping me right now, is a terrific player when they bring him in the box and blitzing. I question whether Ole Miss can run the ball as effectively as it needs to against Alabama, and that puts the game in Jackson Dart's hands. And Ole Miss doesn't have that game-breaking over-the-top receiver that they've had in the past. This year, they kind of have to work for receiving yards, passing yards, and it's a young quarterback in Jackson Dart who's been good, but he's still just 19 years old. This is his first taste of Alabama, and it's a different taste when you play Bama. And I could make that argument. And then on the other hand, if you said, hey, Ole Miss is in this thing until the fourth quarter, they pull it off, I'd be a little surprised, Mick, but I wouldn't be just stunned. Like last year, if the football gods had told me before the game, hey, they're going to go to Alabama and win, I would have said, "Yo, my God, what a shock!" I mean, I would have been floored. I wouldn't even know what to write. I could see it now. Alabama's struggled on the road for about a year and a half. They're not the same team on the road. They're not the same team. They're not as disciplined. They commit a lot of penalties. They make mistakes. They don't seem to get the kill shot the way that they used to in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not criticizing them. I still think they're the standard bearer in all of college sports, but they're not quite the same this year. And listen, kids go to Alabama. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but kids go to Alabama for 2 reasons. 1, they put everybody in the damn league. And 2, you're always playing for a championship. And I guess you could make the argument that Alabama's championship hopes aren't flatlined, but they need a bunch of help.
Mm-hmm.
And they could actually be flatlined before the game even kicks off at 2:30.
Yeah.
If Arkansas doesn't beat LSU, Alabama's chances are over.
That's right.
And so if that happens, what happens internally to these kids? And look, they're not little football robots. They're people. And they know, and this is a team that spent the entire offseason and the whole season, we're going to play for a championship. We're going to avenge that loss to Georgia. We're going to get to the title game. We're going to win it. Bryce Young's going to go out on top. Will Anderson's going to go out on top. And if that's not in the cards, do they play with the same edge? I don't know. Maybe they play looser and they blow Ole Miss off the field. Again, I don't know. But it's what's interesting about this game is for the first time really in the Kiffin era, I could make an argument. It would be a little shaky, but I could make an argument how Ole Miss wins on Saturday.
Yeah, right. Look, I'm with you there. So let me ask you this: Lane Kiffin. Is Lane Kiffin going to take the Auburn job? Is he going to leave or is he going to stay? Seems like he's such a great fit in Oxford, but every time there's a job opening, you hear his name.
He is an incredibly great fit. So I started writing about Lane Kiffin to Oxford in 2017. I was the idiot that the day that Ole Miss took the interim tag off Matt Luke's title, made him the full-time coach, I wrote, you should hire Lane Kiffin, who at the time had just coached 1 season at FAU. It just makes sense. Lane's a little pretentious. Oxford is very pretentious. Lane's a little edgy and likes, the brand is about him, and Ole Miss doesn't really have a brand, and they embraced Lane being the brand. And it fits. And you see, and hey, Lane's won. He's 18-3 over the last 2 seasons in the regular season. I mean, Mick, there aren't a lot of programs that can say that.
No.
18-3. And look, they've played in the SEC West. And you can say, well, they've had some schedule advantages. They didn't play Georgia, whatever. They played Tennessee last year in Knoxville. I mean, they've played games. They won. The only team really that, frankly, the only team in the league that he's played that he hasn't beaten so far is Alabama, referring to Kiffin. He's beaten everybody else at least once. So he's had great success. Will he leave for Auburn? I don't think so. I think people around Lane, I don't think it, I know it. People around Lane know this is not a good fit. Auburn is not a good fit for Lane Kiffin. It's no knock on Auburn. I've been saying this. Auburn people hate me for it, but it's true. Auburn people want the family thing and the War Eagle thing, and they want their quarterback to kind of be a politician. I mean, hell, one of their, not quarterback, their coach, one of their famous coaches is a U.S. Senator today. Lane Kiffin's not running for Senate. Lane Kiffin's not that guy. You guys know this from Tuscaloosa probably. Lane, for all the reputation stuff, is really settled down. He's very, very kind of quiet. He's very low profile other than social media. He's kind of aloof. He, at his press conferences, he barely talks. You can kind of almost can't hear him. He's not going to do all that stuff at Auburn, and I just don't think it's a fit. Now, if you tell me that he's the next coach at Auburn, I will tell you that Auburn gave him a Jimbo Fisher plus contract, and it's all guaranteed, and that would be it would be a little bit earth-shattering, I think, the kind of contract that they'd have to give him. And I don't know at the end of the day that Auburn looks at this and goes, might not be a perfect fit, but yeah, let's give him $100 million.
Yeah, right. Talking with Neil McCready from Rebel Grove, Alabama and Ole Miss, 2:30 kickoff today. Okay, just a couple more questions, really just one, but I've got to throw the side note in. How weird is it that John Cohen is now the AD at Auburn? And I mean, to me, it's kind of a surprise. I think he's a good hire, though. And then, transfer, how important is this game today for Ole Miss and Alabama, in your opinion?
Well, the first part is Cohen. It's a little bit interesting because I think what happened with their AD search could very well end up happening with their head coach search, which is Cohen was not choice one. I think they wanted Hunter Yurachek from Arkansas. He said no. They wanted Dan Radakovich from Miami. He said no. And they get Cohen, who's a very good AD. Now, Cohen is an opinionated, guy. I don't know that John Cohen is the type of guy that is going to come in and let Jimmy Rain boss him around. And so I kind of wonder how that dynamic plays out. But we'll leave that for another day. How important is this game for Ole Miss? Well, look, I could sit here and downplay it. It's pretty damned important. If Ole Miss were to win, they're still alive in the SEC West. They've never won the SEC West. They've never gone to Atlanta. They need LSU to lose, either to Arkansas or to Texas A&M. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's conceivable. If you told me LSU lost one of those games, man, okay. Ole Miss's remaining schedules at Arkansas, Mississippi State at home, two very winnable games for Ole Miss. So 11-1 Ole Miss. Going to Atlanta would be pretty earth-shattering stuff. They've never done that. I don't think anybody was picking Ole Miss to win the West before the season started. So it would be quite an accomplishment for Lane Kiffin for that program. And given the success that he's had in the transfer portal, that he's starting to have with NIL, it would be an opportunity for that program to take a jump where they're maybe starting to hang out at least a little bit on occasion with the cool kids in the league, right? And, I don't know that right now they do that. I don't know that they're in the same category with Alabama and Georgia and LSU and, I don't know, Tennessee maybe even to some degree, although I'm not ready to completely go there. But, this would give them a chance to, Thanksgiving's coming, sit at the big kid table one time.
Yeah, love it.
And that would be good for them, obviously. On the other hand, a loss to Alabama is nothing to be ashamed of. And if they were to finish the season strong and go 10-2, with the only two losses being a loss at LSU and a home loss to Alabama, I think Lane Kiffin would still have a tremendous amount of momentum inside his program, and he could continue to, like I said, get closer to getting to ride in the car with the adults. But they're not quite there yet, but they're close. He's done a really good job in recruiting. Their recruiting is better this year than it was this time a year ago, and that's before the portal rolls around. Lane is an absolute master at recruiting the portal. He's done great work in the portal, as good as anybody in the country. And this would be yes, look, it's still, I know people in Tuscaloosa are like, what's happened? This is like 2-7. No. You're still the elite program. You are still the standard bearer. And even if Alabama loses a couple more games this year, they still are the standard bearer. The people that are like the dynasty's dead, those people are idiots. Those people are out of their mind. The Alabama dynasty is not dead. It is still the prestigious program. It is still the program that when they show up, and you see it everywhere, it's a compliment to Alabama. When they go to Austin, when they go to Fayetteville, when they go to Knoxville, when they go to Baton Rouge, when they go to Oxford, that it's the game. That is a compliment to Alabama. I'm sure that people might get a little sick of it, but hey, look, everybody, with the possible exception of Georgia, would trade places with Alabama from a program standpoint today. They have the GOAT. He's the best ever. Lane Kiffin referred to all this talk about the dynasty being dead as GOAT fuel, and I think he's exactly right. No. Listen, a win over Alabama would be an incredibly meaningful win for Lane Kiffin. People still here today, I know I'm being long-winded with my answer. People still here today refer to that game 8 years ago in Oxford, the goalpost game, Katy Perry and all that stuff, where Katy Perry went crowd surfing in Funkies an hour after the game. Ole Miss people still talk about that game in reverential terms. And Mick, that's a compliment to Alabama, because when you beat Alabama, what it tells you is, in that moment, you saw it last week with LSU, right?
Right. It's a big win.
It's a big win, and it's a win that validates you. It's a win that says, wow, on one night, for at least one night, we were the class of college football, and that's a big deal. And for Ole Miss, a win over Alabama keeps them alive into late November in the championship race, which is something that's pretty rare here.
Neil McCready from Rebel Grove, our guest and our longtime friend. Appreciate you, Neil. And for all of you guys that are hanging out, don't forget we're at the Flora-Bama Perdido Key, previewing Alabama and Ole Miss. Kickoff at 2:30. When we come back, we got Kenny White from out in Vegas, our sharp. We're going to talk about this game and some others. Don't go anywhere. More Bama Insider Tailgate Show coming up.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Make this Christmas one to remember with the classical gift of Daniel A. Moore Fine Art. From heirloom quality limited edition prints and canvases to our smaller collegiate classics, collector mugs, and 2023 Crimson and White Fine Art calendar, you'll find the perfect gifts that your Bama fans will treasure for years to come. Don't miss our exciting holiday specials. Visit New Life Art Gallery in Hoover or DanielMooreArt.com today.
Tuscaloosa is Alabama's ultimate sports destination and a place for outdoor enthusiasts to thrive. It's a community rooted in history and one that's on the cusp of a burgeoning art scene too. Tuscaloosa is vibrant, it's charming, and it's familiar. Its people welcome you with open arms and warm hellos into a community that's tied together. Tuscaloosa is our home.
Touchdown! Hey guys, look at me. Now look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made All-State if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays, you'll be making the bets, and finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
Nothing compares to being at the game in person, but the next best thing has to be Flora-Bama's Ole River Grill. There's over 40 TVs, a game day atmosphere, your favorite drinks, and a football menu that will blow you away. Santa Fe egg rolls, traditional jumbo chicken wings, grilled cheese and chili cheese dogs, and you've got to try our tender pork shank served with a tropical habanero sauce. We call them Island Pig Wings. Flora-Bama's Ole River Grill, the perfect game day when you can't be there in person. Flora-Bama's Ole River Grill, across the street from the world-famous Flora-Bama.
There's a new place where thrill meets chill, where the fun is always tropical cool, inside and out. The park at OWA is now Tropic Falls Theme Park, joined by the all-new indoor water park now open. Come to OWA and experience Tropic Falls. It's like nothing you've ever seen, with 23 theme park rides and 11 new indoor water park slides, complete with lazy river and arcade. All at Tropic Falls, only at OWA Parks and Resort. Buy your tickets online and save at visitowa.com.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines 2 of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Back in on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, getting you set for Alabama and Ole Miss. 2:30, Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi. Alabama with another tough road game. This is the 5th of 5. Alabama 2-2 on the road this year, and they try to rebound after a disappointing and tough loss last week. Our show is brought to you by Yuengling Lager, and we appreciate everyone at the Flora-Bama for making us feel welcome. It's time for our odds segment. It's brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Choctaw, Mississippi. And I tell you, this is the time of year to go over to our local, and I mean that local, hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on where you're at, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Vegas-style sports book.
Touchdown! Hey, guys, look at me. Now look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made All-State if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays, you'll be making the bets, and finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
Yeah, play the game. Look, now's a great time. 5 kiosks, 10 VIP terminals, 3 retail stations. You got, college football, the NFL. You got all the games going on around the world that you can bet on. Anything sports related, NBA, college basketball, they have it all at Pearl River Resort. And they got all the TVs you can watch. And right now, if you bet $50, you can play Dancing Rabbit Golf Club for $30. It's the Augusta that you can play, the #1 course in Mississippi. From Vegas, our sharp type guy, the wizard of odds, Mr. Kenny White. What's up, Kenny?
Hey, Mick. Good afternoon. Interesting. Going to be an interesting weekend of college football, that's for sure. So many moving pieces. Interesting game that we're going to talk about. TCU and Texas, a 9-0 team ranked in the top 5 that's playing a team with 3 losses, and they're the underdog.
Yep, very interesting. And then Reagan blue check mark. You were America's favorite bar owner, but Reagan from R&R Cigar is now a blue check guy.
Yeah, but I have a blue check now.
All right. Well, let's get to these.
On this show have a blue check.
Yeah, I'm the one that doesn't have one right now. All right. Well, you 2 blue check guys are going to pick these games. I'll jump in as well. Let's start with the first one, the Maryland Terrapins. At number 14, Penn State. Surprisingly, this is a rivalry game I grew up with. Penn State is a pretty good team, but so is Maryland. Surprisingly, this is a pretty good game. I'll start with you, Kenny. Your thoughts on Maryland at Penn State?
Yeah, I think Penn State, James Franklin's done a really good job with this team. I think recruiting-wise, he did a great job bringing in a lot of speed. We see that at running back and wide receiver for Penn State. Clifford's done a nice job of really taking care of the football. They're a 7-2 football team. Only losses are to big-name teams. So Penn State at home, I think is worth a play here, -10. My number had this game 15. My projected final score 36-21. And I think it's more about the defense than anything. Penn State's defense, far better than Maryland's. Maryland's offense is good. Tagovailoa's back. They can move the football. But Penn State's defense, I think, is the real deal. And at home, it's been just such a good home field advantage there in Penn State. I've got it worth 6 points. So, again, I made Penn State 15-56. I got a 5-point play on the Nittany Lions.
I used to listen to this matchup on radio when I was a real small kid living in the Baltimore area. And Penn State never lost to Maryland back then. Joe Pa and the Nittany Lions, they've got Singleton this year. They've got Clifton at QB. But we all love Tagovailoa. I mean, he went to school in Thompson, Alabama. I'm going with Penn State, though, and giving up the 10. I think this is going to be a good game. What about you, Reagan?
I like Maryland. I think Maryland.
Is this a homer pick for you? Because I know you're friends with Mike Locksley.
I am friends with Mike Locksley, and I know how much this game means to Mike Locksley. This is a game that he circles every year. I will not be surprised if Maryland wins outright, and I'll take Maryland in the 10.
All right, TCU's at Texas. They're undefeated. They're in the college football playoff if the season ended today, Reagan. But Texas giving up 7 at home. Alabama played there earlier this year. Texas is a program that's on the rise. They're ranked 18th, TCU 4th. What do you think?
TCU is the best team in college football, and I don't think it's particularly close. If they had a script A or a horn or a bulldog or a tiger next to their logo, we would already have given them the national championship this year. They've beaten more ranked teams. I mean, I hear people talking to me about, well, it's when you played them when they're ranked. Okay, well, then by that metric, TCU has the most ranked wins. Right. Oh, well, it's not when you played them, it's where they are now. Oh, well, TCU still has the most ranked wins out of any team. So what they're doing at TCU is incredible. I really do believe they're the best team in college football. I think they're gonna surprise a lot of people throughout the rest of the season. And I like what is it this? You gig them? I know about gagging them, but is this gig 'em?
I have no idea.
I think it's gig them. So yeah. Gig 'em.
Isn't Gig'em Texas, the Texas Aggies? Look, well, I got you.
What is their thing? What is they're the Horned Frogs.
Yeah, ribbit. All right, let me ribbit over to the Wizard of Odds here. Kenny, this is going to be a fun watch, maybe the biggest game of the weekend besides Alabama and Ole Miss.
Yeah, as I mentioned, this is the game, 9-0 and an underdog by 7 points against a team who's lost 3 games. Reagan's got a very high opinion of TCU. I'm not sure really who they played, who is that great. Now, I've been on TCU. I've been betting TCU from the beginning of the season after I saw him against Colorado in the second half. Said Sonny Dykes is a mastermind. He's a great coach. There's talent there. Max Duggan stepped in and became the starting quarterback. That even made this team even a better football team. But they played Oklahoma, who's, a good football team, not great. And they were at home to that game. And they played Oklahoma State. They were home. They played Kansas State. They were home. Texas Tech. They were home. Their toughest road game, I guess I would have to say maybe was at Kansas, and the Kansas quarterback got hurt. They did win by 7. They pushed the spread in that game. My number's right on. I made Texas 7. I think Texas is the better football team. I've got Texas 9th best in the country. So we'll see who wins here out of this situation. I hate betting against. I'm not betting against him, but Sonny Dykes is a great coach. That's for sure. He's got the coaching edge. Now, The total, I'm going over. I think it's going to be an up-tempo, high-scoring football game. TCU number 2 offense in the country. Now, Reagan wants to say they're the best offensive team. I can agree with him there because they are that good. I have them 73rd defensively, though, allowing 5.6 yards per play. Texas got the better defense, but their offense is up-tempo. Sarkisian loves to play fast. They're 16th best offense in the country. So my total was 72 here. I think this is a 40-33 game. I'm going over the total.
All right, give me Duncan and TCU in this one. But you know what? I love getting 7 points with a team that I think is better straight up. So be interesting, though. This would be a good win for Texas if they were able to win this game, and especially if they would cover. All right, let's talk Alabama. Let's talk Ole Miss. 2:30 today, Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford. Reagan, this is a game that Alabama really wants, but Lane Kiffin needs this game.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a couple people that need this game too. I think Bill O'Brien needs this game. I think Pete needs this game. I think both of those guys, I think for Bill O'Brien, the head coaching opportunities available to him if he doesn't show up this game are a lot different. Easy to sell Ole Miss, or easy to sell Tennessee, scored 49. Easier to sell LSU, scored 31. Going to be a lot harder to sell, losing the 3 games this year for him. I don't know what to think of this Alabama team.
I'm with you.
They're soft. They're soft. The players are soft. A lot of the coaches seem like they've gotten a lot softer. I mean, you heard Nick Saban saying last week it was unfair to put expectations on these guys before the season started. I'm pretty sure the players set those expectations themselves, not us, when they said this was a rebuilding year and, we'll be back next year. But the mentality's off. We don't make their asses quit anymore. I miss those days.
That's the funniest thing you've said all year. All right, you're gonna take the 12 and the Rebels. It's 11.5 in a lot of places too. I'm with you, Reagan. Reagan,
I'm game for him.
I'm with you. I have no idea what Alabama team's going to show up. And after last week, 12 points. I mean, they could win the game and not cover that spread easily. Besides that, the last time these two teams played in Oxford, it was 63-48 or something. I mean, it was a back and forth. So I'll take the points in a game that I think the Rebels really need. What about you, Wizard of Odds, Kenny White?
They may be soft, but they've lost 2 games. They lost one by 3 points at Tennessee, and they lost by 1 point at LSU. So they lost 2 combined games by 4 points. Mississippi's loss at LSU is by 25. They got crushed 45-20, where Alabama lost by 1 at LSU. And it was an improved LSU team by the time Alabama got to see that what Kelly has done there. That being said, Mississippi's really good. They're solid at home, so this is a really tough game for me. I made the game 9. I do lean to Mississippi, but what I like about the game is over. I'm going over 64.5. The Lane train is going fast and furious. They're the 9th best offense in the country. They're 3rd best running the football, 267 rushing yards a game, top 3. So they can run it. They can pass it with Jackson Dart. And that Alabama inexperienced secondary, still young secondary, continues to get beat. I think Dart beats them over the top. The running game is going to work, but Alabama's going to score. Bryce Young, 19 touchdowns, 4 INTs. Gibbs is going to run wild, I think, against this Mississippi defense. Mississippi's defense is about an average defense. So Alabama has a huge edge defensively, but I think it's going to be back and forth all day long, 41-31 Alabama.
Yeah, look, Alabama 2-2 straight up and 1-3 against the spread on the road this season. And the thing that scares me the most is that, they've outscored their opponents on the road 149 to 139. I mean, that's just not very Alabama-ish. And like Reagan said, that's not making their asses quit. So that's why I'm taking Ole Miss. But you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if Alabama came out and played their best game today. All right, Reagan, Mr. Blue Checkmark, what do you got going on at R&R Cigar?
Well, it's UFC night. We've got the UFCs tonight. Big fights, and going to be a lot of fun. And then we're getting ready for Black Friday and the Christmas season. So always a great time at the mansion. Gosh, so many liquor drinks. I counted. We have over 150 bourbons now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's getting crazy.
Nice. All right, Wizard of Odds, Mr. Kenny White, and the Kenny White Power Ratings. Tell everyone how you can help them handicap their weekend.
Thanks, Mick. Yeah, it'd be very easy. Make you all professional handicapper. Power ratings are the foundation of any sports bettor to know the difference of the two teams and how good they are. So you can get all my power ratings: college football, NFL, college basketball. Right now, $19.99 for the entire month. You get all three, and I give you the projections of the final score, what those ratings say. And that's you can adjust the ratings any way you want to. Just don't go too far off the base number, but you can always make your own adjustments as well. So I think that's the most important part. When there's that many teams, college football, you got to have power ratings. I've seen people handicap the NFL before without power ratings because there's just 32 teams, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody win at college football without a good set of power ratings.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and we appreciate you guys. Let me remind you, too, that the show, and we've actually given tickets away tonight to OA Theme Park in Foley. It's like 7 miles from where the show is at the Flora-Bama. They've got 20 theme park rides from signature roller coasters to Majestic Mansion, 1,800 glass panels and an indoor water park. So no matter what the conditions are, you get to go hang out at the Tropic Falls and experience the lazy river. So many things going on at OA right now, and we are giving away passes at the Flora-Bama today for
Looking for something one of a kind? Shop downtown OA, where you'll find everything from handcrafted local favorites to national brands, high-end chocolates, Native American-inspired gifts. You'll find it in downtown OA.
And they've got concerts and even an Elvis impersonator. You can check it out for yourself next time you're coming down to the beach. OA, right there on the toll road. If you take the toll road to stay out of traffic, you pass it every single time. All right, when we come back, we're going to break down Alabama and Ole Miss. Game kicks off at 2:30, biggest game in the country. We'll be right back.
Unique on the Strip. It's the best place to watch sports.
You're not even kidding. 11 TVs, NFL and MLB package, NHL, EPL, and so much more. If you want a game, they have it.
Now they're doing weekly NFL Pick'em, winners every Sunday, and grand prizes on Super Bowl Sunday.
And we haven't even mentioned the drink specials.
Of course they have daily drink specials. You can see them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Unique T-Town every day.
Unique on the Strip, the best place to watch sports in Tuscaloosa.
Hi, Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced, and Tuscaloosa Hyundai doesn't add the side sticker. Side stickers mean you pay thousands more. Everything is value priced at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. No additional dealer markups. It's just that simple. So if you're tired of getting stuck with side stickers, no additional markup is why you come to Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyline and Hargrove.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yingling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, near Home 2 Suites, or Northport, next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
Cathead, the first legal distillery in the state of Mississippi. Founded in 2010 by friends and fellow Alabama grads Austin Evans and Richard Patrick to create small batch spirits that give the taste of the South with every sip. Best known for its flagship Cathead Vodka, Cathead Distillery produces 5 award-winning brands. Find out for yourself and pick some up for your next party or tailgate, catheaddistillery.com.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
There's a new place where thrill meets chill, where the fun is always tropical cool, inside and out. The park at OWA is now Tropic Falls Theme Park, joined by the all-new indoor water park now open. Come to OWA and experience Tropic Falls. It's like nothing you've ever seen, with 23 theme park rides and 11 new indoor water park slides, complete with lazy river and arcade. All at Tropic Falls, only at OWA Parks and Resort. Buy your tickets online and save at visitowa.com.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines 2 of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Autumn brings vivid colors to the back roads and hollows of Sevierville, Tennessee. Wind your way to quaint country churches, a historic covered bridge, and even a pick-your-own apple orchard. This fall, the best views are yours on Sevierville's Rocky Flats Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, hanging out with you live at the Flora-Bama, getting you ready for Alabama and Ole Miss. 2:30 kickoff on Hemingway Stadium. The show brought to you by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery. And it is great to bring on Chris Coleman. We just know him as Coleman. Cole America podcaster. He's a dart champion. You go to Unique Bar on the Strip, you're going to find this guy. You're going to find our show there next week. That's where we're going to be next week for Alabama and Austin Peay. So you'll see him again there. What is up, brother? How you doing?
Doing well, man. How are you?
Look, I'm trying to recover from last week's football game. You were really confident last week, Coleman. I got to tell you, it was fun hanging out with Ben George and, and reliving old times. But you thought Alabama would roll. They lost the football game. What are you looking for today?
The only thing I got right last week was the holding call on the first drive of the game. That was it. I was surprised at a lot of it. One, our struggles in the red zone so much that really surprised me a lot. I didn't think that they would be able to clamp down that much. Moving forward, it's been somber in Tuscaloosa this week. That energy is not in the air, and it's a character test for the team, for the coaching staff, for everybody. And Lane's been hilarious in every one of his interviews. If the state of Mississippi does one thing well, it's that their coaches interview well.
Yeah, no doubt.
And looking at this game, though, breaking it down, Ole Miss is one of the best run teams in the country. Our run defense hasn't necessarily been the issue. They've only given up 7 sacks all year. That's 4th best in the country. Alabama's only given up 8, but that's because Bryce Young has eluded however many. And so his mobility has helped that number out a lot. The thing that I look for with if we could stop the run and make them have to pass, then Alabama has a great shot at winning this game and winning it handily. If we don't, we're in for a long day.
Yeah, will Bama get back on track today?
I think so. I think so. I think that they've said all the right things, and that this team doesn't quit. And you play for the A on the front of the jersey and all that. We'll see if that actually holds true. I think that it will. I think that Saban's done very well against Ole Miss. He's like 13-2 since being here. He's 3-0 against Lane. Lane hasn't beat us, and I think that. Well, you were talking earlier. You were talking about Ole Miss and really needing this game to stay in the hunt. 11 a.m. I think Arkansas is going to take down LSU. Now, and I think that's going to add a little bit to that locker room. We're going to hear about that right around kickoff. And I think you're going to see a little extra fire from our guys. So, you still with me? Mick? Hey, buddy, you still there?
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Unique on the Strip. It's the best place to watch sports.
You're not even kidding. 11 TVs, NFL and MLB package, NHL, EPL, and so much more. If you want a game, they have it.
Now they're doing weekly NFL Pick'em, winners every Sunday, and grand prizes on Super Bowl Sunday.
And we haven't even mentioned the drink specials.
Of course they have daily drink specials. You can see them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Unique T-Town every day.
Unique on the Strip. The best place to watch sports in Tuscaloosa.
Hi, Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced, and Tuscaloosa Hyundai doesn't add the side sticker. Side stickers mean you pay thousands more. Everything is value priced at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. No additional dealer markups. It's just that simple. So if you're tired of getting stuck with side stickers, no additional markup is why you come to Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyline and Hargrove.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, football is fine art. Now at newlifeart.com, see Daniel A. Moore's new 2021 Crimson and White Fine Art Calendar, featuring 13 dynamic images of defining moments from the Saban era. As a special offer to listeners of this show, use coupon code ROLLTIDE for $5 off each calendar. To order yours, call 1-800-735-2787 or visit newlifeart.com today.
Autumn brings vivid colors to the back roads and hollows of Sevierville, Tennessee. Wind your way to quaint country churches, a historic covered bridge, and even a pick-your-own apple orchard. This fall, the best views are yours on Sevierville's Rocky Flats Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Nothing compares to being at the game in person, but the next best thing has to be Flora-Bama's Ole River Grill. There's over 40 TVs, a game day atmosphere, your favorite drinks, and a football menu that will blow you away. Santa Fe egg rolls, traditional jumbo chicken wings, grilled cheese and chili cheese dogs, and you've got to try our tender pork shank served with a tropical habanero sauce. We call them Island Pig Wings. Flora-Bama's Ole River Grill, the perfect game day when you can't be there in person. Flora-Bama's Ole River Grill, across the street from the world-famous Flora-Bama.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Touchdown! Hey guys, Look at me. Now look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made All-State if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays, you'll be making the bets, and finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
Final segment of the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, getting you ready for Ole Miss and Alabama today, 2:30 from Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Alabama looking to rebound after a tough loss last week, and Ole Miss trying to make history as they continue their push forward. Alabama with Nick Saban and Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Hanging out with Coleman here on the show, but let me tell you that our show is live right now from the Flora-Bama. Live music on on 3 stages. You're talking about open from 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. every single day. Free bingo Monday through Friday, 1 to 4. Get your bushwhackers. It's a great place to watch football. You got the main bar where we're at right now. You can go over to the Yacht Club or the Old River Bar, and it is just an awesome place to be on a game day or any day. And I know many of you that are hanging out, including Coleman, have been here multiple occasions. We appreciate the hospitality. This is our home away from home. So we were here for Texas. We were here for LSU, and we're here for Ole Miss, and hopefully we'll be back for the postseason. But Coleman, let's get back to this game, brother, and talk about it. Kind of got a little bit disconnected there, but I'm back and talking about this game. Penalties and turnovers. Is there a crack in Alabama's dynasty?
Well, you can't judge a dynasty off of one season, and especially 2 losses by 4 points, both on the road. Do I see things turning around for next season? I don't know. Bryce Young won't be here. Yeah, and honestly, without him, in my opinion, this season, 2
wins.
A
lot worse.
Yeah, 2 losses would be a lot more. But that's a season away. We're more worried about today's game with Ole Miss. The key is going to be stopping their run. They're one of the best run teams in the country. If we can stop their run, then we should be okay. We'll be in this game. Now, also, on the other side of that, because their offense has been so prolific, I'm interested to see what we do with our offensive play calling, because their run defense is not good. And I would like to see us ground and pound and hold possession a lot more. Let our front 7, our starters on D, rest more with longer time of possession. We do that, I think we run away with this game.
Yeah, look, I'm with you on that. So what's your prediction?
I like us. And, I like the under in this game because I think both teams will run the ball more. And then I heard the Wizard of Oz, who I have so much respect for, and I love his pick.
Kenny White.
Yeah, Kenny, talking about the over, and I was like, oh. So that kind of hurt me a little bit. But I think that I could see this being a 31 to 17 type game.
So you think Alabama's going to tackle a lot better this time?
I do. I think that our exposure in the secondary is not going to be the problem, and that is where our weakest link. I think that we're going to have them in bad down and distance most of the day. Like I was saying earlier, they've only given up 7 sacks all year, and it's mainly because they don't throw the ball a lot. And I think they're going to have to throw more, and I think we're going to get to them.
All right, you got 30 seconds. Tell me what you got going on at Unique Bar, where we'll be next Friday to record the show from 6 to 8 right there on the Strip in Tuscaloosa.
Even though Bama's lost 2 games, the season's not over. All is not lost. The world has not fallen apart. And so we still got college football going. We still got 2 more home games to go. Looking forward to both those. The World Cup starting here in, 10 days now. Looking forward to that. We'll be open by 10 a.m. every day for all those games. NFL every Sunday. Obviously, drink specials every day. It's just a good time for sports. If you enjoy that and everything that's going on, good times.
All right, well, that's cool. We'll see you next week. And that does it for the Bama Insider Tailgate Show from the Flora-Bama. Thank you for the hospitality to everybody, Jen and John. and everyone else. We'll see you next week, Coleman. And don't forget, after the game on the Bama Insider YouTube channel, we'll be here. We'll break it down. We'll take your calls. Alabama and Ole Miss. Have a great game day, everybody. 2:30 kickoff. We'll talk to you afterwards. Roll Tide.